Alright, what's up, y'all? So, I want to talk about Puerto Rico for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking as somebody, I'm speaking as an American of Puerto Rican descent, you know what I'm saying? Because I've only been to PR once. But I've seen enough and I heard enough, read enough to understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only way, if you want people in Puerto Rico to be self-sufficient, to grow their own things, to create their own things, they're not gonna do it as a state or as a commonwealth the way they are. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way to do that is if Puerto Rico becomes independent. Because once Puerto Rico becomes independent, then they're gonna have to find a way to do it without the help of the United States or Canada or whatever, and unless they choose to. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's better. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's way better. And that's the only way Puerto Rico is going to be self-sufficient. That's the only way that the Puerto Rican people of the island that's not going to be lazy anymore. Because to me, it seems like the people over there are too comfortable. They're not like taking charge of their own island. You know what I'm saying? And if Puerto Rico becomes a state, then the Puerto Rican culture will be destroyed. It's gonna be like Hawaii. You're not gonna have anything that truly represents the island in modern time, or of anything of the the Taino Indians or anything of the Spanish colonial times. None of that. When the Africans were freed in Puerto Rico because it was part of the slave trade, all that will be. You won't see any resemblance of that. You're not gonna see the colorful colonial houses that you see in PR now. It's just gonna look like New York, And I think people are being too, how you say, needy of the U.S. government. But there are people in Puerto Rico that are trying to put the message out that the United States is a corrupt, imperialist country. And I know when I was over there, I was hearing a dude in Spanish talk about Henry Kissinger and talk about some of the crimes and the lies they committed. So I think in the information age, I think it's the younger generation that's going to change things in Puerto Rico. The older generation, they know better. They're living in the info age and they know history. They just don't want to do anything. They want to be comfortable moving back and forth between New York and Puerto Rico. Of course, if Puerto Rico becomes independent, you need a passport. So what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the future of Puerto Rico is more important than whether or not you will be able to go back and forth constantly between New York and Puerto Rico, or Florida and Puerto Rico. That doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, and I don't really give a shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't give a shit about that. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you really care about serving the cultural identity of Puerto Rico, and at the same time want to lift yourselves out of poverty, you're not gonna do it as a state, because we have poverty in this country. We have poverty in this country. You know what I'm saying? If we have poverty in this country, what makes you think that poverty is gonna stop in Puerto Rico if it becomes a state? You ain't gonna get no benefits. You ain't gonna get what you think you're gonna get from the government. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They're feeding you lies. And I know because I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And this is all bullshit. And that's why I want y'all to share this video, you know what I'm saying? Send it to Puerto Rico, let them know, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not gonna get any benefits from it. Okay? The United States is already screwing Puerto Rico over a bunch of times. And the pro-U.S. governor and all the pro-U.S., because all the governors of Puerto Rico were pro-U.S., they stole money. You know what I'm saying? They just stole money. So And if Puerto Rico, this is what I think. I think Puerto Rico needs to ease their way out of being independent, right? So instead of maybe they should be an autonomy first, move to become an autonomy first, and then become independent. If you do it right away, there's gonna be a lot of chaos, a lot of division, a lot of confusion, and it's gonna scare the United States. And a lot of American interests are not gonna be happy about that. They're gonna try to, and you know, CIA is still here, even though the CIA is not the same like it once was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Oliver North still promoting his book, but it is. I mean, there's. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because the CIA is still the same, but they're doing it in a way where they have special forces working for the CIA now. They don't need like private contractors, but that's not true. They have mercenaries in Syria and Libya. But if they do that, like if Puerto Rico becomes independent right away, then they're gonna have to deal with the CIA. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay because eventually, any nation that's not really part of the United States, they're gonna have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to deal with the CIA, and that's where us here in this country have to start talking about getting rid of the CIA. You know what I'm saying? But Puerto Rico it should be independent. It has to be independent. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't just want Puerto Rico to be the way it is right now, or for it to become a state and then you still say, well, it's Puerto Rico. I mean, it's not. And once it becomes a state, the United States can name it whatever the fuck they want. You know what I'm saying? That's not what y'all want. That's your home. You don't want your home being abused and a bunch of condos being built for Americans and a whole bunch of Americans start moving over there. Like, nah. No, the main language has to be represented. I also believe that the indigenous language of the Taino Indians should be represented. You know what I'm saying? It should be represented now anyway, but definitely if PR becomes independent, you have to think about that. Because you still got Taino Indians over there. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see Puerto Rico having a future if it stays the way it is now or if it becomes a state. Because you're still going to have crime, you're still going to have poverty. It's probably going to be worse as a state because they're going to build more housing projects, because they're going to ghettoize. They're going to split Puerto Rican people. All the poor Puerto Ricans, you can't afford that, we're going to build you housing projects. You know what's going to happen. We all know what happens when they build housing projects. You all know about the drugs influx and the guns and all that. The influx of drugs and guns. So Puerto Rico's already bad. Y'all already getting, PR is already getting fucked just for being Commonwealth, being associated with the United States. It's not gonna hurt for Puerto Rico to become independent. It's not. And I just feel at the time that I was there, like, I just feel like a lot of people there were a little too comfortable and too lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see Puerto Rico having a future the way it is or becoming a state. I think that's a terrible idea. I didn't think any governor or any politician in PR that's saying that, he's lying to you. He's a lie. He's just trying to get money out the U.S. government. Like I said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't represent a separate nation but then say you're part of the United States. Either you're a separate nation or you're part of the United States. And Commonwealth doesn't really clear that up, you know what I'm saying? So, but knowing what I know about this country and the history of this country that a lot of people in Puerto Rico don't know, trust me, y'all don't want to become part of the United States, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to be independent. Like I said, maybe y'all need to become an autonomy first and then become independent, you know what I'm saying? I just don't see Puerto Rico. And when I was there, I didn't want to leave. You know, even though I'm more of an American, I felt, like my grandparents' spirits over there, you know what I'm saying? May they rest in peace. I definitely have to go back. But as you can see what's going on in Puerto Rico now, that's all that's the fault of the pro-U.S. politicians in Puerto Rico, or the fault of the U.S. government. I mean, y'all should know how to run your country. You know how to run your country. Why do you need the United States to tell you how to run? Why do you need the United States to tell you how to run your country? Why do you need the United States to give you things when you know the kinds of things you need to create in order to maintain stability in the island? You know that. Y'all know that. You don't need the United States. The United States is gonna fuck you over. And if y'all become independent, right away they're gonna, the United States is gonna say fuck you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to dirty up the waters over there. You know what I'm saying? Stir up some kind of division. So I think it's important for people in Puerto Rico to understand the history of American imperialism. I mean, y'all know about the slave trade by Spain. I mean, the United States was doing that too afterwards. So y'all should know that. So, but y'all should know about the modern history of the United States, why the CIA was really created. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should know about every individual from Henry Kissinger to George Herbert Walker Bush to covert guys like David Morales. Y'all should know that should be a main course in the colleges over there in Puerto Rico, in the universities over there, for real. You know, because I mean, those are my people. That's where my grandparents are from. So they're my people. I love my people. When I was over there, I didn't want to come back. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see Puerto Rico surviving like this. Not like this, or as a state. I just not. You don't want Puerto Rico to become a state. Trust me. You see all the crazy shit that's going on in this country? It's gonna happen over there. So y'all need to have your own identity, learn how to grow your own food, learn how to create your own products, learn how to create your own energy, to figure out how to have, sources and food, and how to stay warm, and you can partner up with other nations that are democratic. You know what I'm saying? Like Norway. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but maybe Canada. Y'all can still have a relationship with Canada, but the problem with Canada is that they're too tied up with the United States. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? But this is how I feel. Puerto Rico is not going to survive as a state or a commonwealth. So that's all I got to say. Peace.